Write like a man. Use a typewriter.
Have there been any books that you wrote that you were really excited about and you thought like, man, I'm at the top of my game. Like, this is a really cool subject. Everybody's going to love it. And you release it like, doves at a wedding out into the world and it just flops. Have there been have you ever had any manuscripts like that
I would
that were
say
published?
that most of the books are that experience. It's
Oh,
only
whatever.
very few. I mean, right in front of you, you've got 36 Righteous Men and The Profession.
Yep.
And I would include Tides of War in this too. And I thought, oh, these are really cool books. People are going to love these books. They just went out and sank without a trace,
Wow.
And it definitely happens. Also, The Knowledge, the yellow book in the middle there. I think that sold like probably 100 copies, You guys are probably like 1/10 of the readership of that book. And I loved the book. I thought, oh, this is great. People are going to love it. I'm
This is
almost
a cool
always
book.
wrong. In fact, every time I think I have something good, that's like a really bad sign.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's almost like, Nick has explained this too with certain chapters that he's written. And then I've had it with certain books in the Heavenly Realms series that I've published where like, it's just either a chapter or a section that you write that you're just like, oh, dude, I'm just grinding my way through this. I just need to get through this so I can get to the other thing. And then everybody comes to you and is like,
that's the chapter that everyone loves.
yeah, that's their favorite chapter. And
You're the one that I love. Everyone's like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's
My wife's like, oh, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I give
So
up.
it's true. I don't know why it's true, but it is true.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of The Knowledge, I've been reading this pretty much any spare moment I get between the two jobs. And I haven't got very far into it, but I've really been fascinated by this because it is such a cool departure from a lot of your stuff. I mean, your bread and butter for the longest time seemed to be the historical, the ancient historical fiction stuff,
Yeah.
Especially once we got pretty deep into the, war in Afghanistan and the parallels between that and, what happened, 2,500 years ago, with Alexander the Great, the Marine Corps Commandant's reading list, Gates of Fire is on that. So, I could see why you're maybe facing an uphill battle as far as your brand with modern day fiction. But everything you've written, has been either World War II or, kind of a more action or military or possibly spy oriented thing. The Knowledge, however, is kind of pseudo fiction, right? Because you were a cab driver.
Pseudo autobiography. Yeah. So
autobiographical. Yeah. There we go. Yes. Tell us a little bit about The Knowledge, if you don't mind, because I've really had a lot of fun reading this.
Well, it's just it's basically about the time when I was driving a cab in New York and working on a book, and it's really a story about a young writer's coming of age, of trying to break through, Yeah. And in the title comes from in London, if you want to be a cab driver, now this may have changed with the GPS, but the streets of London are so complicated that you have to, and people will spend 2 years doing this, memorize the streets of London. And there's a test that the city gives you where they'll say, go from, Grosvenor's Corner to Stokes Poges, and you have to rattle off, turn right, turn left, go through this alley, go through that. Yeah. And that is called The Knowledge. And you, as an aspiring cab driver, have to know the knowledge before they'll give you. And I love that. And I thought it's a great metaphor for life, right?
Yeah.
Like life is this city of London, and we have to somehow acquire the knowledge of how to get around it. So that's what is the metaphor for that. A young writer struggling to break through story.
That's awesome.